There are many different forms of abuse, but at the heart of all of them is the need for power and control over the victim. And one of the ways an abuser will achieve this is through what is called reactive abuse, or eliciting a reaction out of the victim so that they feel like they still have control over the emotions and the response of the victim. And this is applicable in stalking, gang stalking, abusive intimate partner relationships, co-parenting relationships, abusive family dynamics, an abusive boss or coworker, a former friend. This can apply in all of these dynamics. And ultimately what the goal is to poke the victim so many times that finally the victim goes, "Stop poking me." And then the abuser will go, "Oh my gosh, look how they responded. They're so overreactive. They're crazy. I never said that. I never did that. You're always picking fights and causing problems." And oftentimes they'll even record the victim so that they have proof that they're the victim, and they'll use that later down the road if you ever, seek legal help, or if there's a physical assault and you call the authorities. They'll say, "Well, I have this video. They're actually the aggressive one. They're always yelling and causing problems. I'm the victim." They're preparing their defense ahead of time, essentially, because they've been in these types of dynamics before. They know how it plays out, and they're preparing their defense. A reactive abuser is setting a stage for you to have a certain light casted upon you. So the goal is to not step on that stage, because once you do, no matter how you react, how you respond, once you're on that stage under the light they're casting upon you, you'll be seen in the light that they're portraying you. And unless you're dealing with people that are really trained in this form of abuse, they're gonna see that light. And it will be detrimental in custody battles and all sorts of things when there's not the proper eye to see the deceptive light that's cast upon a victim. And an abuser of all forms is going to study their victim. What are the triggers? What are the things that are most precious to that victim? Do they value and take pride in their parenting? That's what they're going to attack. Do they take pride in having a good work ethic? The abuser is going to call them lazy and target the quality of their work. Does the victim value their faith? The abuser is going to mock their faith and make jokes about that. Does the victim take pride in having a tidy home or maintaining their appearance? The abuser is going to mock what they wear, how they do their hair, or how they clean or cook. They're going to go after what they know will elicit response from the victim, what their triggers are. So a victim can reclaim their power by identifying, firstly, what are my triggers? What are the things that tend to be patterns here that they're saying or doing to elicit my reaction or my response? When I go to that exchange, to exchange the kids with my co-parent, what are the things that are occurring repetitively that are causing an emotional upset? Are they late every time, or do they forget the kids' backpacks, or whatever it may be? If you learn what those triggers are, or what's going to be said by him or her that's going to cause some emotion, you can then prepare for it. And really the goal is that as they keep pushing that trigger over and over again, and you don't give response, eventually it's going to lose effect. That trigger button is going to lose effect. And what will happen is the abuser is going to escalate it a little bit further and take it a little bit farther, and as you create boundaries, they're going to push the envelope more and more, but eventually they're going to realize they're not going to get the reaction out of you. And this is called the gray rock technique, or gray rocking, where essentially you're mastering the art of detachment with your abuser. So you're only interacting with when necessary, you're keeping it brief, you're removing eye contact and taking the emotion out of it. So it's just a business transaction, and you're preparing yourself for it so that you know not to step on the stage that they're trying to lay for you in that moment. Because these abusers are planning, these stalkers are planning scenarios intentionally with much forethought, with hopes of a certain reaction out of you. They're laying a foundation for you to react. So you can reclaim your personal peace by not participating, because abusers tend to love conflict. They love drama, they love chaos, but they can't have it one-sided if you choose not to be part of it. And just as life can give you lemons, you know, you can turn that into lemonade or lemon bars or lemon pound cake or a lemon tart, lemon meringue pie, lemon spritz cookies. You know, you just take those triggers, those negative things, those lemons that abuser's gonna throw at you, and just bounce it back with positive things. You know, take it in stride. Don't let those words have power over you, because you know who you are. You know you're a good parent. You know you're a good worker. You know you're a good cook. You know if you're attractive. You know these things about yourself. They don't define you. So when you set that boundary and remove the power for them to elicit that emotional response from you, you've reclaimed your personal power. You're stepping off the stage, and you're not allowing yourself to be seen in the light they're trying to cast you in.